On a normal day, Maria would have walked to the open window, and from the clothesline just beyond it, she would have unclipped the dress. Cotton, pink, knee-length, with a lacy white apron that began the day clean and accumulated stains as she cooked for the Romeros. She had 2 other dresses just like it, one mint green and one baby blue, all of them given to her by La Señora when Maria had started cleaning at Casa Verde 4 years ago. The bad year. The year her mother died. After taking the dress from the line, she would have folded it and packed it in her work bag with a bar of Savoy chocolate for a mid-morning snack. But La Señora had called the night before, asking her to stay home. They were going to wait and see what happened with the opposition March 1st, she said. Señor Romero had heard things were going to get rough. Maria woke up at her regular hour, nevertheless, the lazy light just crawling over the mountain, stretching thin on the zinc roofs of Barrio Cotiza. She had lived in the barrios on the west side of Caracas since she could remember. First in an apartment building in Catia, when her mom still lived with family, working class but sturdy, made of concrete and iron, with an elevator that wended its way up to the 5th floor shakily and slowly, and a bus stop right outside the building. When her mom started cleaning at an office building, they'd moved up the mountain to a rented room that was a 5-minute walk from the street through sets of concrete steps. Then, when Maria was a teenager, they made another move, farther up the mountain and down the poverty line, to their first rancho. No more sturdy walls, no more dependable utilities. Her mom was both disappointed and relieved when Maria insisted she needed to work, that school could be something she thought about later. Finally, they got here, to the highest part of Cotiza. Her mother already sick by then, Maria's son Eloy, already a boy without a father. The burden of work sat heavily and solely on Maria's shoulders. There was no more barrio above them, only mountain, and in this city, none but the poorest lived this high up. She brushed her teeth and checked on little Eloy, sleeping on the couch wrapped in Disney sheets, hand-me-downs from the Romeros. At noon, she was still home. That never happened except when the Romeros took their vacations. Summer visits to Miami, Christmases in Whistler. But she was thankful not to travel across Caracas to Casa Verde today. The protests had been making public transit impossible. Fewer than half the buses were operating. They all charged more, even if it was against the law, and you had to fight your way on. With schools closed for days, figuring out how to keep 9-year-old Eloy occupied while still getting to work had been taxing. For her, for Magali, her best friend, even for her neighbor, Jacinto. But it felt wrong to be still. On weekdays, the only people who weren't up before the sun and on their way to work were drunks and criminals. Even though La Señora herself had asked her not to come, Maria couldn't help feeling she was disappointing someone. Her dead mother? Herself? Her son? She wasn't sure. She crossed the tiny living room of the rancho, winking at Eloy, who was lazing on the couch, and walked past her folding table covered in flowered contact paper to the kitchen at the far wall. Her 2-burner countertop stove and her small fridge had grown patches of rust and sported numerous dimples and bumps. Her concrete floor had cost her a year's savings to install, and she was proud of it. On the wall to her right, the only one made of brick, the others were corrugated zinc paneling, one door led to the bathroom, and the other to the sole bedroom in the house. She opened her last bag of harina pan, a quarter full. She would have to figure out how to make it last, since she most likely wouldn't have another for days, maybe weeks. The stores had been out of stock for a while now, though you wouldn't know it from the pantry at Casa Verde, where Maria stacked the bright yellow bags one atop the other, like bricks in a wall.